set entre el jugador Klesep y Daniel Galán.
$15-0.
Klesar es un jugador que tiene un gran nivel tenístico, sin embargo creo que sus baches mentales es lo que no le ha permitido estar mejor rankeado, que tiene un gran nivel de tenis, se le ve que tiene muy buena derecha, muy buen revés, buen servicio, es bien habilidoso, pero sí es conocido en el tenis por tener esos lapsus mentales en partidos de torneo específicamente.
¿Derecha a lo de Luchi un poco, Antonio?
De Klesar, sí,
15 iguales.
sí, una derecha profunda con mucho efecto. La toma bien adelante, con una flexión de piernas casi que exagerada para buscar más efecto y más potencia, una bola más pesada con su derecha. Ahora, si los baches mentales de Klesar son conocidos en el circuito, eso es lo que tiene que buscar Galán. Ahora, Klesar sabe que es lo que le van a buscar.
Pues precisamente ahora Carlos Salamanca le está diciendo a la barra eso, que es muy importante que la barra esté prendida porque hay que buscar tratar de sacar un poco del partido al jugador brasilero.
Qué derecha de Galán. Fíjese usted que puede haber tirado un latigazo. Prefirió buscar más precisión justamente en el lado de la cancha
15,
donde ya no
30.
estaba Klesar. La tiró a contrapié sin mucha fuerza pero con mucha ubicación. Ahí tiene que tener mucha muñeca para encontrar esa precisión y fue lo que hizo Galán.
Y ahí Charlie Salamanca dice, vamos, que a él no le gusta correr, obviamente refiriéndose al brasilero.
$30 iguales, pero ya está en
30
aprietos
iguales.
el brasilero con su juego de saque. Esto hasta ahora comienza, pero ya vemos que va a ser un partido mucho más largo que el anterior, donde Thiago Monteiro no dio pie a las posibilidades de Santi Giraldo. Con un juego totalmente ofensivo. Klesar apuesta a la defensa y Galán, que es más agresivo, toma sus recaudos. De todas maneras, trabaja el punto.
$40-30.
Aquí en estos puntos es cuando la gente se tiene que comenzar a aprender, Antonio.
Sí, el público tiene que ayudar, sobre todo sabiendo que los baches mentales son frecuentes
Iguales.
en el juego de Klesar. Y uno quisiera que sí apareciera, sobre todo arrancando el partido. Ya después cuando esté jugado, pues hombre, es ahora donde se marcan las diferencias. Llega cómodo a los costados, trató de buscar ángulos Klesar, lo buscó por el revés y por la derecha 3 veces en este punto por cada lado, pero siempre llegó bien, con comodidad. Cuando hablo de comodidad, lo que llega bien ubicado con las piernas, lo cual es la base de todo el resto del desarrollo del punto. Para poder pasar de defensa a ataque ahí tiene que llegar muy bien ubicado, Alejo.
Sí, muy inteligente Daniel, esperando el momento indicado para contraatacar. Creo que está haciendo lo correcto. Klesar es el que busca más los puntos, el que busca atacar más, y Daniel defendiéndose como pueda hasta que le llegue ese momento de contraatacar.
Sí, tal vez nos imaginábamos a un Galán un poco más agresivo, buscando puntos más cortos. Ha decidido trabajarlos, pero trabajarlos siendo agresivo, tomando la iniciativa.
Primera vez que vemos a Joao Svets levantarse tantas veces de su banco, dándole mucho ánimo a Klesar, que esta es su segunda convocatoria para el equipo de Copa Davis. 2 derrotas, no ha ganado, perdió su confrontación contra Sugita de Japón y también lo hizo en una semifinal ante Emilio Gómez de Ecuador.
sí lo pudo abrir sobre el revés, le trabajó la derecha varias veces para dejar el otro costado de la cancha, el costado opuesto libre, y al final ataca con la derecha sobre el revés de Galán, que no alcanza a llegar para seguir poniendo la pelota en juego. De todas maneras, se ha puesto en aprietos al brasilero en este juego muy temprano, y esto va haciendo mella. Y fíjese, el brasilero hace algo que casi que es una novatada, Alejandro, ¿no? Que es pedirle al juez que...
por favor.
Bueno, eso ya parece Copa Davis, ahora sí.
Ahora sí, claro. Entonces él le pide al público, al juez que calle al público, y el público lo que hace es todo lo contrario. Es una novatada.
Puño apretado, de pocas expresiones, pero se tiene confianza.
Iguales.
Sí, claro, porque si está apostando a trabajar...
Señoras y señores, les recordamos, por favor, no manifestarse.
Para tener gran consistencia necesita estar confiado, y eso es lo que ha mostrado hasta ahora Galán, ¿no?
Y Galán como que provoca a Clésar para que lo ataque, para que arriesgue.
Sí.
Y bueno, Clésar tiene que estar con mucha confianza para todo el tiempo estar atacando y buscando a los winners.
Además que era el partido que no esperaba, ¿no? El público se mete decididamente y estoy de acuerdo. Ya hay Copa Davis aquí.
Le ve otra cara a Antonio, ya lejos se comienza a sonreír, la gente se comienza a meter también en el partido, y tiene punto de quiebre el santanderiano Daniel Galán.
Saque plano sobre el revés. Y ese grito, esa expresión de desahogo del brasileño también denota que está en aprietos.
Iguales.
Está contra las cuerdas. Paralela, la de Daniel Galán, con una soltura impresionante. Y claro, Clésar lo quiere buscar sobre el revés, pero para eso tiene que sacarlo por la derecha varias veces.
Ventaja.
Para poder encontrar el espacio en el revés.
Sí, la gran virtud de Daniel Galán es contraatacar. Vemos que cada vez que lo atacan se defiende bien, y apenas tiene la oportunidad va a buscar el punto.
Iguales.
Saque directo para el brasilero sobre la T. Dios. Juego larguísimo. Y estos juegos largos suelen ser determinantes, ¿no?
No, y lo siente más, de alguna manera, el que lo está sacando, Alejo.
Sí, claro, sí, desde el comienzo del partido ya está enfrentando 3, 4 oportunidades de quiebre y lo está salvando el servicio. Ha ganado puntos directos en esos momentos importantes. Creo que claramente Galán ha tenido un gran arranque en ese partido. Creo que lo está manejando como si tuviera toda la experiencia del mundo. Se le ve la soltura, se le ve la tranquilidad y sobre todo la confianza que trae desde la semana pasada al llegar a la semifinal en el torneo en San Luis de Potosí, México.
¿Le gustan los movimientos de Galán, Antonio?
Claro que sí, está suelto, está, hombre, como dirían algunos profesores,
ventaja,
bailando sobre la cancha.
Colombia.
Y eso después se ve, porque es que en el tenis se depende casi que en exceso del juego de piernas. Si las piernas están sueltas y se mueven bien, el resto sale solo. Se pierde otra oportunidad de quiebre.
Le cambia la velocidad, le varía la velocidad del servicio. Galán no lo esperaba, se sorprende. Y nuevamente 40 iguales.
Hagen, skiing the venue for her first time, who took first place, winning with a fluid technical line and a series of well-stopped jumps. Julien Lopez of France, a skier with plenty of experience on his face, headed skiers left, cleanly linking together a series of pillow drops and cliffs to take third place. Last year's overall champion Rennie Barkerud of Sweden chose to go fast and steep from the outset, but crashed badly on his landing. After a year out, Jeremy Heitz of Switzerland was back on form, taking the fall line for a near flawless high-speed double cliff drop, earning himself second place. The flying Hawaiian Drew Tabke drew on his contest experience on the Mac Daddy, making use of the abundant terrain features lower down and hitting cliff after cliff with his smooth style.
I felt like I had a winning line, and I knew if I did it right, it would turn out well, and I landed it. My plan this year is to be a little more aggressive. Actually, you know, I had a lot of like 5th place finishes last year, and that doesn't pay as much, and it doesn't win a world title. You have to be in the top 3 more often. So more aggressive, maybe take some more risks, but looks like it paid off right away.
It was men only for the second tour stop in a snowy Cormier, Italy. The area eventually lived up to its reputation as the sunny side of Mont Blanc, with the clouds parting to reveal the magnificent Italian Alps and a powder-laden contest face. Fresh from his win in Revelstoke, squaw local Ralph Backstrom came to Cormier as points favourite. He dropped a smooth double cliff drop, a solid enough big mountain run, but not quite enough for a podium on a face which favoured the freestylers. After a disastrous start in Revelstoke, still no redemption for Jonathan Charnay. He picked out a couple of good jumps, but it was only enough for a disappointing 9th place. John Brodowski of Jackson Hole, USA, stepped it up a notch in Cormier, hitting numerous features and following a stylish method air with a big backflip to take second place. Frenchman Aurélien Rotan was on top form in Cormier, building on his 3rd place in Revelstoke. Taking a high line into the freshies, Rotan linked a series of smooth, well-executed jumps. That meant Rutan's first ever tour win, and it sent him to the top of the overall rankings. After his epic tumble in Revelstoke, Rennie Barkerud was keen to make up lost ground. Taking a fluid line down the main couloir, Barkerud hit a series of full-line features, stomping his landings to take 3rd place. Jeremy Heitz of Switzerland built on his 2nd place run in Revelstoke with another formidable 2nd place run here. Charging out of the start gate, he skied right on his limit, putting together a creative display of jumps and turns in the steep, technical terrain. After a brilliant first stage win in Revelstoke, Drew Tabke got stuck, throwing a big backflip off a berm, followed by a smooth 360, but unfortunately it was only good enough for 6th place. Making history as the first Italian skier on the tour, Marcus Ader headed skiers right, dropping fast into a steep, exposed line. Still gunning it, Ader threw a huge left-handed 360 into a tight technical landing before throwing a big backflip off a natural hit lower down. Ader's maiden victory in front of a home crowd marked him as one to watch in 2014.
I'm mega stoked dass ich hier in Cormier, Italien.
I'm mega stoked to be here in Cormier, in Italy, as the only Italian. I'm really happy. As I finished my run, I had no idea that I'd finished first, but they told me I was leading at the finish line. I feel really happy.
Erster Platz, das war schon ziemlich, also ich bin ja schon ziemlich glücklich.
Well, the riders then made the short hop across the Mont Blanc Massif to the neighbouring resort of Chamonix in France. A historic centre for winter sports and mountaineering, Chamonix is a must-do on most free riders' bucket lists. The contest space was set for Le Guil Prix, a well-known free-ride spot known locally as Little Alaska. After a short break, the snowboard women were back and raring to go. Margot Rosy was at home on this space, enjoying the playful terrain on the contest space and taking another 2nd place, which would send her to the top of the rankings overall. However, it was veteran North Face Masters competitor Laura Dewey who pulled out all the stops to take first place. The American riding confidently and linking a series of drops despite having to ride on borrowed equipment after her luggage was lost. American Ralph Backstrom continued his momentum after a season-opening win in Revelstoke, riding an original line at speed here in Chamonix to take second place and boasting him to the top of the overall rankings. But it was local hero and 2012 world champion Jonathan Charlet who'd laid down the winning line. Hungry for a win, Charlet was on a mission, slaying one big powder hit after another. His fast, fluid line impressed the judges and his win would bring him back into the title race. Austrian Nadine Wallner came to Chamonix with a second place at Revelstoke already under her belt. Sticking to the more tracked section of the venue, Wallner put in a series of good airs before finishing up her run with a well-executed cliff drop to take second, hot on the heels of Christine Hagen. Reigning world champion Christine Hagen of Sweden seemed in a league of her own once again, putting in another impressive run here in Chamonix as she took a confident, fluid line, linking a series of big features at speed to take first place and secure her top spot in the rankings.
It's just 2 contests out of 5, so a lot can happen until the end, but of course it's a good start and it's a good thing for me.
Hopes were high for Italian skier Marcus Ada. Going down the skier's right side of the course, Ada launched a big left side 360, only to go over the bars, losing his ski and any possible points. Austria's Fabio Studer took things to a new level, spinning a stylish right side cork 360. Studer then threw a huge left-handed 720 spin and into second place. We expect to see big things from him in 2014. And in-form Drew Tabka opted for the skier's left side of finding fresh tracks and hitting a big cornice drop. Staying fluid, Tabka then picked off a big spine transfer, nailing the landing. With speed and style, Tabka makes it 2 wins out of 3.
I won today, and it's incredible. I got a victory in Revelstoke and a victory here, so my best year ever so far, and we still got 3 stops left to go.
Extreme Life ofrece lo que otros nunca han puesto en pantalla. Conocerás todos los elementos que forman parte del éxito de atletas extremos como Johan Nungaray, Eric Ruiz, pilotos infernales, Pancho Nave, Ana Laura González, entre otros. Conocerás el detrás de los deportes de acción. Nueva serie. Estreno domingos 8:30 p.m. Extreme Life. Solo por PX Sports.
Beyond the boards and gears of action sports lives a rarely told story of athletes chasing a dream of epic journey and adventure in search of the ultimate sports rush. This is adrenaline. This is dedication. This is sports adventure.
Kirkwood, California was the location of the 4th stop on the tour, a small core resort situated at the back of South Lake. Kirkwood has a big reputation for its free-riding terrain. The event will take place on a permanently closed area of the resort called the Cirque, a steep, tree-laden face with a base of hard volcanic rock. Under bluebird skies, Shannon Yates from Snowbird, Utah, dropped in and picked up a unique line, dropping into a tight chute, riding it down to the finish to take 3rd place. Elodie Mouton from Annecy, France, narrowly missed out on first place with her run. Starting off slowly at the top, she picked a creative line down the face before linking 2 airs over the Cirque's volcanic rock. Leading the rankings with a series of second places, Margot Rossi from the French Pyrenees finally managed her maiden win of the season. Her first place here means she would go to Fieberbrunn with a commanding lead in the overall rankings. Coming into Kirkwood as points leader, Ralph Backstrom sent a big floaty air over a huge boulder. However, he butt-checked his landing. No podium today, just enough to retain his overall position as tour leader. Taking the right-hand side of the face, Sami Lubka stomped a stylish method air to kick off his run. Into the cliff band below, and Lubka pulled off a stomped double drop. Keeping his flow, a second place for Lubka and second place in the overall rankings. But it was to be a local wildcard Ryland Bell's day. Familiar with the terrain, a confident Bell set himself up for a big backside 360, stomping his landing. Already scoring highly, Bell then dropped one more cliff to complete his run, taking first place by a significant margin. Norway's peer Nick Gunderson continued her climb up the rankings with her run in Kirkwood. Her fast, controlled turns and no hesitation jumping gained her plenty of points to take second place and move into second in the overall rankings. Christine Hagen came to Kirkwood leading the rankings. Dropping into the Cirque, she started strong and fluid, but then out of nowhere she came unglued, catching her ski and spinning out of control, a bitter blow. Badly in need of a podium finish, Squaw Valley's Jackie Passo headed skiers right out of the gate, skiing a smart, controlled run. She made full use of the terrain and into first place. Vermont native Lars Chickering Ayres set the bar high, jumping through a scattering of potentially run-ending rocks. More fast turns for Chickering Ayres were rounded out with a final air on the last cliff band and making him the one to beat. France's Julien Lupin started slowly and then dropped 2 cliffs. Tracking across the face, he threw a trademark backflip, landing it cleanly. One big final drop, all landed cleanly, meant a good score for Lopez, but not quite enough to beat Chickering Ayres. Leading the rankings, Drew Tabka started off his run in style with a big 360, but failed to land it cleanly, hip-checking as he got sucked into a patch of soft snow. Another messy 360 saw Tabka slide into 13th place, just enough to hang on to his overall lead. Making its way back to Europe, the tour finally arrived in Fieberbrunn in Austria. After 5 days of snowfall, the event was finally underway, a last chance for the athletes to make it to the final in Verbier. Taking place on the Wildsee Loader, the contest face was steep and long and 600 meters of vertical drop. Utah resident Shannon Yates took a challenging line but landed badly in the mixed snow, finishing 5th place but still in contention for the overall. Tour leader Margot Rossi rode a conservative line in Fieberbrunn, making only 6th place and leaving the title race open going into Verbier. Elodie Mouton chose the rider's right-hand side of the face. A series of powder turns and a good-sized no-hesitation air near the bottom were enough to win the event on a day of cautious riding from the snowboard women. Struggling with his form, Aurélien Routon went hard out of the gate, landing a 5-meter air into a cloud of powder. Keeping his speed, Routon ripped down the face, shredding powder and popping fast airs off the windlass. A committed cliff drop took him to the top of the leaderboard, although he'd have to wait to find out his position. Jonathan Charlet charged out of the gate, jumping a huge 12-meter air over the rocks. Jumping another solid 8-meter drop into deep snow, Charlet spun out of control, but he quickly regrouped, popping a 360 off the rollover. A final 4-meter jump capped off an impressive run for Charlet, bumping Routon into 2nd place. Sami Lubka started cautiously before riding the ridgeline to hit a perfect 4-meter air into the next chute. Riding with speed, Lubka then hit a series of small, fun airs. He drops a small cliff below, taking 1st place and moving into 1st in the overall rankings. Opening the comp in bib 1, Jackie Passo set the bar high, laying down a fast double drop, then taking on the biggest cliff of the day. She sent it with no hesitation to take 3rd. With 2 second-place finishes already under her belt, Nadine Varner followed Passo's line. Then moving on to a hefty cliff jump, Valner threaded a narrow landing like a seasoned vet to take first place. And with Hagen out of the Tour due to injury, Valner would move into the top spot in the overall rankings. Yes, first place at the World Tour is just amazing, of course. But now I put a lot of pressure on myself going into Verbier. After a low-profile season and with nothing to lose, Silas Chickering-Ayres blew everyone away with a strong line choice and a no-hesitation jump off one of the biggest cliffs. Skiing on, Chickering-Ayres banged down a second huge cliff, taking the top spot, but with many riders still to go. But for Tabke and the other riders, it was more about staying on their feet and securing enough points for the overall title. Swiss rider Jeremy Heitz blew his title hopes in dramatic style, badly injuring his hip, but he'll be back in 2014 and one to watch for sure. And you can never bet against Barker. The reigning world champion charged into his line, stomping a series of cliff drops to take third place, sliding back into title contention once again. But the action wasn't over quite yet, as fellow Swedes Willy Lindberg dropped into the face. Going even bigger than Barkered, Lindberg stomped into second place, beating Barkered by a narrow margin. Silas Chickering-Ayres would take the top spot with his maiden victory. With only the highest-ranked riders making the cut, the Tour headed to Verbier in the Swiss Alps for the final. A veritable mecca, Verbier has been hosting contests on the legendary Bec de Ros for the past 18 years. With 800 metres of vertical drop, the athletes face an intimidating, leg-burning descent through a labyrinth of rocks. With the title race now between her and Mouton, Margot Rossi dropped in confidently on the back. Riding with good speed, she hits her first cliff, but checking her landing slightly. Two more well-stomped airs from Rossi, but it's only good enough for third place. It was Elodie Mouton, who progressed so much during the season, who made the standout run. She hit the first cliffs, confidently landing well in the steep path.